You can sing, sing along, dun, 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 2.5 hours later, still singing that song. So I'm just sitting here and I was thinking about age gaps in relationships because I'm about to watch this movie called Liberal Arts. Um, and I've just been thinking about it and how people think it's weird and some people don't care. And I personally don't care as long as it's within reason. Nothing illegal or too strange. I mean, if you can talk to someone 20 years younger than you, and it can be a completely different experience. But then you can find people that it's really not that different um, from talking to someone your own age. It all depends. I mean, it depends on the person, and some people think it's weird. They're like, oh, well, you don't have anything in common with that person. How are you gonna ever talk to them? But you'd be surprised. I mean, you might not like the exact same shit, but you can like the same kind of shit. Maybe they like newer versions of the same shit that you like. Um, and that kind of it's kind of the same thing. And at the same time, you can kind of it's also about learning and teaching each other too. It's not just about because if you don't, in a way, you can kind of grow as people because you can teach each other shit that you didn't know otherwise. And that's kind of how my marriage started, really, because my wife being from England and me being from the U.S. We weren't really anything alike when we started talking. I mean, we liked similar kinds of music. Again, like not the same shit, but the same kind of shit. She liked like newer music, but it was like still the same kind of music, kind of. And I liked the early I've only listened to early '90s stuff. Well, mostly listened to early '90s rock since the early '90s. But I mean, I listen to other shit too, but like maybe from the '70s, but mostly early '90s stuff. So we kind of like the similar kinds of shit, but we were really nothing alike, and I don't know how the hell we had such lengthy conversations for so long. Because I was looking through our emails, our old emails from like 2004, like when we first started talking. We talked forever. Like, we talked for hours every day. Like, she never slept. I never slept. We just talked all the time. And then we started talking on webcam, and it was like every fucking day, just all day. When I was home from work, it would be like the middle of the night. She'd be waking up for work. We just talked all the fucking time. And I don't know how. I don't even know what we talked about. I don't know what we talked about. Because we don't like anything similar, really. So it's about like learning shit from the other person too. I kind of found it interesting, the way it was like the cultural differences, and that kind of made it interesting for a while. When I moved here, I got used to it, and now I can't even like tell when somebody American is talking. I don't even notice it. Like, I don't notice if they're British or American. My wife points it out, and I'm like, oh, you're right. That's an American. I don't even notice. It just doesn't affect me anymore. But so you can grow as people, but not that my wife is a lot younger. She's only 6 years younger than me. But I'm saying different people and age gap people can grow as people, because of those things. Like, because you learn things from the other person. But I mean, the reason I don't find it weird, again within reason, is because there was the whole early 90s, uh, the whole music explosion thing, the Seattle Nirvana thing. And when that was kind of like where I first figured out who I was or what kind of person I wanted to be. And I never really wanted to leave that era. I never, that I've always wanted to stay back in that era. And after Kurt Cobain died, whatever your thoughts on that are, again, probably best to keep it to yourself. But after Kurt died, it's like everything started to suck and everything moved on. Technology moved on, people moved on away from that whole scene, and I stayed back in it. I stayed kind of in that whole thing. Nothing ever made me want to be a part of it after that, except the internet. And the internet's the only thing that I've, become attached to that's post 94. And I'm kind of regretting it now because I fucking hate the internet now because everything is the internet now. I like going to the movies. I like using a real telephone. I like writing letters. I like doing shit. I like going out with people and doing shit. I like physically talking to people. You know what I mean? I don't want everything to be right here in a box. Because then it just starts feeling like Jabba the Hutt sitting here, fucking eating frogs. I don't have to go anywhere. I could do everything right here. I don't want everything right here. I want to have to do things. And it's kind of like life is just going away. Because everything, and it's moving all into here, into this little box in front of you. It's like life is right here. You don't have to do anything anymore, and it sucks. It sucks. I mean, back in the late 90s, I guess it was the mid to late 90s when the internet first became a thing that people used. It was fun. It was interesting because it was new and it was easier than having to do a bunch of shit. You could email someone. You could talk to someone through instant messaging, and it was fun, but then it just started to go overboard. Everything is on. There's no more TV. I mean, I don't really watch TV all that much anymore. I watch one show, but it's like there's nothing anymore because everything's on the internet. You don't even have to go food shopping. You can order things on the internet. You don't have to do anything anymore. It's like stores will be obsolete soon. We won't have physical stores anymore. So everything just kind of moved on, and the internet was the one thing that I still liked, for a while anyway. But now it just sucks. It's just becoming ridiculous. So back to the point of the story here. It just, nothing made me want to be a part of it. So I kind of stayed back in the early 90s, mid 90s. So in a way, I'm kind of like still 17, 20 years old, but I just look older, and I'm a little more mature maybe sometimes. I mean, I still have my moments where I still act like I'm in high school, mostly on YouTube, but it's I don't know. I mean, I'm a lot smarter than I was back in the 90s, but just mostly because of experience that I've had that were not smart, drugs and street shit that I've dealt with, but but I'm a lot smarter than I was, and that's really the only difference. I mean, I'm still kind of the same person. I still wear fucking clothes that I wore back in high school. You know what I mean? So in a way, talking to someone who's 20 years old, it's not weird to me. Because I'm still kind of like them, you know what I mean? I still hang out with people that are younger. I never really dealt with older people too much, or people my age too much. People my age want to be older, and I don't. I don't know. I just don't care. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but I mean, I've had a few like sexual experiences with older, like 50-year-old women, or I don't really know how old they were. I guess definitely in their 50s, not 60s, but 50s. But this was back when I was like younger, so it was more of an age gap than this would have been, but that's not what this is about. This is, I mean, I guess it is technically, but yeah, I mean that wasn't a real relationship. Those weren't real relationships, though. That was just sex. But I guess it could have turned into something. I mean, it wasn't really that far off. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It was a weird thing that happened. Yeah. But I mean, that wasn't weird for me. It wasn't weird. Actually, it was pretty good. It was kind of fun. So, if any of you are watching out there, call me up. Or leave a comment down below. I'm just kidding. They probably won't be watching this. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't find the whole age gap thing weird. I just don't. As long as somebody is like able to have a real conversation with you, it doesn't really matter. I mean, despite whether you like the same shit or not, or even know about the same shit. Some people don't even know what the fuck Nirvana is, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's something you can teach them, and it's fun to teach people about cool things. But, it's weird. It's weird that someone cannot even know what the fuck Nirvana is. I mean, for me, it's weird. But the 90s don't even feel like they were that long ago, is the thing. It doesn't feel like there's been a 20-year gap. And I don't even like the late 90s. I don't like 97 to 99. That whole Britney Spears era. I don't like that whole era. But it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. It doesn't feel like 20 years ago. It feels like the 2000s still just started, kinda. And you can pretty much ask anybody my age or older, and they'll tell you the same thing. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago. Maybe for the people that were born in the 90s, it's 20 years. But for us, it's just like, oh, that was just like, it feels like the last couple years ago. The 90s weren't that long ago. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it was that long ago. And it was. It was 20 fucking years. Jesus Christ. How the hell? What has happened? In 20 years, so much has happened. I feel like I just broke my fucking ankle. I broke my ankle in 98. That's what started the whole heroin thing. And I feel like that just happened. But that was 20 years ago. 21 years ago. Fuck. It's just so weird to think about. 20 years is such a long time. That's like, imagine if you're in prison for 20 years. That's a long fucking time to sit in a box and just think about just think about the shit you've done. I mean, that's like a long time. And people do that. People go to prison for 20 years. And that's like, fuck, dude. I would find a way to die. Because I'm not going to fucking sit in prison for 20 years. No fucking way. I'm going to get some dope and OD on that shit. Or something. Something's going to happen. Because I'm not sitting in a box for more than 5 years. I mean, 5 years max. I might do 5 years in prison. Maybe not for much longer. As I get older, I probably won't not want to do as many years. I don't want to do any years, but I mean, I wouldn't do more than 5 years, and I would find a way to die, because I'm not going to waste that much time in there, But that's a long time. 20 years is a long fucking time, and it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. It's just, like, I guess as you get older, time doesn't feel like that big of a gap. So I don't know. Again, I guess that's also part of it for me. Age gaps, why they don't feel weird, because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. 20 years ago wasn't that long ago. I'm still basically the same fucking guy. I was 20 years ago, sort of. I mean, I'm not in a band anymore, and I don't really care to be in a band anymore, really. Unless it's really a fucking good band, like good musicians. And, you know, it would have to be, it would have to be pretty good circumstances, but I don't know, I just don't care to be a musician anymore. I only go to open mic to meet chicks. Fuck. It's the only reason I go to open mics. Is to fucking meet women, and they're never there anyway. It's like, you're lucky if you fucking meet somebody that's even remotely, I don't know, coherent. But, that's really the only reason I play music anymore. I don't give a fuck about playing music for a living anymore. I don't know, it just doesn't interest me anymore. I'm more interested in, like, doing film stuff now. So yeah, so 20 years doesn't feel like such a long time, but it is. It's such a long time. 20 years, that's 2 decades. 2 decades. 10-year periods. Back to back. 20 years. I don't know. It's a long fucking time, but it at the same time doesn't feel like it was that long ago. So I don't know. Age gaps, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a big deal to me. But to some people, it's like, oh, it's like taboo. Fucking, how dare you talk to someone who wasn't born in the same decade as you? I don't know. But you can always sing along, dun 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 dun.